Өдрийн дэрх үзэгчтэй Эгэллүүзийн зочны зэг өнөөдөр маш сонирхолтой зочин урьдсан байна. Миний зочин Alaska Fairbanks их сургуулийн доктор профессор инженер хүн байна. Hi.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And thank you for coming to the studio. You have majored in a very interesting field of study, cold weather engineering. So, what brings you to Mongolia?
Well, I have actually two projects right now I'm doing in Mongolia. One is, we're helping the Erdenet copper mine with their copper recovery. And then, my graduates, we are also training some of their engineers in Alaska Fairbanks. But, the other project that we have is very interesting. We are designing the School of Engineering for the American University of Mongolia. And we have been doing the design for the past few years. We're doing it very slowly and talking to a lot of people. And just for the record, my background is in mining engineering, but everything in Alaska you have to know and acknowledge the cold climate. It is so important.
It's like Mongolia.
That is correct. Very similar characteristics.
Yeah. You are working with American University of Mongolia. So
that is correct.
You're developing engineering program.
Yes.
So, we have own engineering schools.
Yes.
They're a big tradition in Mongolia. So what is different from other local schools?
Yeah. Thank you for asking that. One of the first things we did is we went to employers. I talked to maybe 30 government agencies and private sector employers, big companies. I actually talked to the engineers. I talked to the executives. I said, what is it that you need? What are you not getting? So they said some very interesting things, and some said, Mongolian engineers, especially the men, are very shy. They need to talk because they don't express these ideas, and it hurts the company when they don't express. Wow. Some said, English is very important so that they can understand standards. And the cold climate came up many times. There were many technical topics that they wanted. And so all these employers, they gave us a lot of feedback. And so then we have, we are doing this to American standards, to the ABET standards, which is very international and well recognized. So we then took this back to the team. I have a 9-member team of various specialties. And then we argued and we debated, and then we decided on the curriculum little by little what should be in this curriculum. So it's very international, but it is actually very customized to what the employer needs here.
So American University in Mongolia is accepting applications for new kind of engineering program. So?
That is correct. And so right now we're starting with 2 new majors, mining engineering and civil engineering.
Civil engineering.
Yes, and we have we have an advisory board, which is industrial. And so everything is being done with them. And so it includes the government as well, government ministry members. They said that mining and civil were very important, for infrastructure development and mining. Yes. And so that's how we're starting with 2 majors.
Okay. So why is it so important to take cold weather into account?
When you look at technologies, most technologies are developed, especially mining, or you look at road technologies, they're developed in warmer places. Most of them, like the United States, Australia, lower parts of Canada. Yeah. You bring that to cold climate and many things don't work. So you take a look at rock, for example, you break it, you do chemistry, and then you get the metal. But when you bring in cold water, which is what will happen in a cold climate, the water will cool down, chemistry will be slower, and then your copper or your metal content is actually less. There are many times you will have, like it happens in Ulaanbaatar, in the winter, you will find air inversion happens. So in an open pit mine, where there is usually no ventilation problem, but in a cold climate, you will have problems where the air quality is so bad you will stop production. This will not happen in, say, lower parts of China. It will not happen in the US, most parts. So when people come and they bring their technologies, when the engineers are supervising projects, which is really my interest, I really want them to know what it is that they are doing and why they have to be careful. Why should the road be built why they cannot compromise, because in the winter the road will behave one way, in the summer it will be different, and the economics change, and that's why it is so important.
So why did you pick Dalanzadgal?
Yeah, again, I look at the board of AUM, and the broad representation, they have a very long-term view of Mongolia. So they said, let us look at how Mongolia will develop. And the future, and many would say, the future is in the Gobi. That's where the industrial development will happen. That is where infrastructure. The best engineering schools are always around where the action is, because that's how faculty and students get more experience, they get more interaction with the profession. And so even though not much exists in terms of higher education in Gobi now, Dalanzadgal is a really, really good place. And I think the board who made that decision were very smart with that.
So you chose that because it's very close to the largest mines.
Largest mines, and the future, when you look at the infrastructure that will be developed, and so Dalanzadgal will be able to provide excellent training. One of the ways we are designing AUM is we are forcing the university to interact with the employers, and that usually does not happen. Our internships programs will be
only for short terms, like
that's right.
1 month, 2 months, or okay.
We are requiring them to get lectures from the industry, and the employers are so excited about this. And so what will happen is you can do those things where the industry exists, where the engineers are. Oyu Tolgoi has an office here, but their engineers are in Dalanzadgal, there, right, in the Gobi region. They are not here. So when you want a lecture on block caving, and somebody from OT comes and gives a lecture, that is very, very high quality. Everybody learns, Similarly, if there is an engineer building a road there, or a electric power line, they come, they give a lecture, it will be very high quality. Same with internships. Our internship plan is different. Most internships, they go and they watch, and we don't want that.
Yes.
We don't want that. So we have talked to employers, and we said, you have to give them jobs, so that they actually do jobs and they get paid for it. So it has two benefits. They make income, but they're responsible and they learn. And so it's a completely, so when you look at the little details, it is very different, and Dalanzadgal is a big part of the strategy.
So how many students will you accept?
We are planning to take about 25 students per major per year, and we don't want a
total 50?
Total about for mining and civil it will be a total of 200. So 25 per year per major.
Will you have special requirements like English language or something?
We have a bridge. That is a very good question, and so yes, the education is all in English. And so we don't know what the math and science and English background will be. So we have a special bridge program which is starting this year. And so we will, when a student applies to AUM, AUM will evaluate their standard, and then some may have to take the bridge program because their English is not good or the math is not good. And then they go into engineering. So they don't go straight. So they have to be evaluated first.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Эгэлтүүцийн зочлол цаг өндөрлөө. Миний өнөөдрийн зочин Alaska Fairbanks их сургуулийн профессор Rajive Ganguli оролцлоо.